Hey everyone, Neon here again, doing another video. This time I am playing Xenan, as you can see right above me right now. This was a something that actually happened after I posted my last deck. The last videos that I said, I told my Discord, is like, hey, if you guys have any suggested decks for me to run, I'd be happy to take some suggestions and do like similar kind of videos, because I've been kind of enjoying these. They're really easy to do, and if I just like kind of have an hour of free time, I can just pop them out like that. And I actually got a lot of response from people, so I decided that I'm going to probably try and do more of these. So if you want to contribute some decks to this, be sure to join the a+space Discord. There's a link to that below, and just tag me in it, and I should be able to find it and try and do it. I'm going to be having a bias towards decks that are interesting or competitive, is I guess the best way to put it. So it's something that like, if you just kind of give me like random jank that is, like, I mean, like, we've all seen crown decks, we've all seen like, mono revenge style decks. Like, just you give me, if it's like original, like actually like original and new, and looks like you put some effort into building it, I'll try it out, even if it's a really off meta. But I definitely want to do a lot of competitive slanted stuff. So to just give you kind of an idea of that, I'll of what I'm going to be doing there, especially if people are really interested in doing that. Oh, hey, easy win right there. I was going to start talking about the deck, but just got that turn to victory. But this deck was suggested to me by one LightsOutAce. I know that he's been somebody who's been pretty big into the Xenan archetype. He's been a champion of it as a counter to Huru, and just kind of likes the playstyle for it. It's a deck that I thought was really good when this meta first started, but I kind of over time felt like there wasn't a lot of room to improve it, I guess, as part of it. Like, it had a hard time keeping up with the rest of the format. So it's in a weird place in right now, I think, still. But like, there's a lot of decks that have some good technology, good power against it. But it's a decent deck. Still, it has powerful things. I mean, like, just Teacher of Humility. We saw what it did last game, basically. We'll see if we'll lose that here. We do. Well, we got our Shadow Influence, which I was hoping for. But other than that, it's kind of like a pretty simple-ish deck fundamentally. I'm kind of interested to see how it does perform in this series of games. I'm going to just fire off the Varus Favor here, though, because I am not expecting either any Aegis units or any 1 health units. At this point, like, they likely would have played out a Initiate if they had it, and that's the only 1 health unit that I would expect them to play. Maybe if they have a Delph and then they flip its health as a result of a scare, but that is obviously an incredibly niche application. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Oh, quick thing to note, there's a fun little addition, is this Lime Spitter Slug right here. Type Slug, very important. Got to get that slug synergy going on. I think I'm actually just going to grab In Cold Blood, because if they play out a Moonstone Vanguard of their own next turn, I'm going to feel kind of frustrated. Interesting. Not what I was expecting. I haven't really seen very much in the way of Masks decks, and that's going to punish me pretty hard. If I don't use In Cold Blood, if they have undepleted power, I'm in a huge deal of trouble, because then they can play an 8-drop, and 8-drops are scary. I'm going to have to do it, because I think I have to just... I should have just attacked. Wouldn't make that big of a difference. The 2 life points doesn't really matter in matchup like this. Oh, as far as Favor does hit Merchants as well. I hadn't really thought about that. Shakedown. That's going to miss. In Cold Blood. I feel like if they had an Azindel, they would have played it the previous turn. Apparently not. If they have another Azindel here, I am gonna scoop. Because I just can't beat that, especially with double draw. This is really bad too, because now they're going to have another Azindel almost guaranteed that that's what they're going to be grabbing. Like, if I was building their deck, I would put an Azindel into the market. Oh, they're going to do it with Xenan Obelisk. Not what I was expecting. I mean, I'm fine with this. I get 5 life, sure. This does kill a Halisi, which seems good here. I mean, I'm still like way behind, unless this isn't obvious. Like this, I am incredibly far behind right now, and I don't have a lot of ways to get back in this. Like this is, I mean, you're against a rampish kind of matchup. Like if they get a chance to really operate their game plan, you know what? I'm honestly, I think I should just scoop here. Like they're on a million power. Like that's probably the second Azindel now. They're attacking here. Like they have the 2/0/4 blockers. Like there's no way for me to get back into this game. That's obviously an atypical matchup here. Like that's not I haven't seen a mass. I guess I actually did see it maybe in the last video. It wasn't that long ago. Saw it randomly. Maybe this is taking a bit of a uptick in popularity that I just need to keep an eye on. I still haven't checked those ETS results, so maybe that's what I'm missing. But I mean, this is kind of the problem with this deck in some respects. It looks like sort of a generically powerful deck, like, you know, proactive and stuff like that. But the nature of the metagame, it's a little bit slow, surprisingly. In some respects, like you don't have like explosive, synergistic ways to like deal a bunch of damage or catapult yourself ahead on the board, which is what's more common in the aggro-ish decks nowadays. So it was. This is part of the reason that it's going to suffer a little bit. And this is also the problem with a deck like this, is that it at its core is a fairly aggressive deck, in that you have to establish a board presence early. If you don't, it always feels to me like you're really behind. Like this card, like I can't keep it even though it's really powerful, because I just need to have something that applies pressure early. And like my hand just doesn't do anything now. I need to have if you don't have a 2 or a 3 drop, you're very, very far behind. Not having a 4 drop, like that's something that's happening in this hand right now. Very unusual in my experience to have that, but I mean, it does happen. But when you don't have a 2 drop and you don't have a 3 drop, though, that's just like a disaster. So I'm gonna play this one out. I think that I am a huge underdog, though. They're having the chance to just kind of fix their hand, do whatever they want. I might just fire off the Desecrate next turn blind, on the assumption that they got a sabotage effect, or rather the oh, now I have 2 of them, so it's not worth it. They're definitely confused. Like when they realize what I'm playing, I think it'll be weird. Yeah, Regent's Tomb is what I was expecting for them to grab, but because I had had 2 Desecrates, then the second one is going to get hit. So there's no point in trying to be cute like that. What are the chances I get to attack with my Moonstone Vanguard? 5%? 10%? I guess that they probably have like power plus annihilate, or yeah, so they definitely have the power. So Desecrate, I guess. I mean, they probably saw this ahead of time. They got my hopes up with it, but because if they had all of those components beforehand, it was pretty likely to be disappointed. I could have done something like Delph plus Avara's Favor to set up the Deez's Office next turn. That's like the Delph itself is not great here, especially because my opponent has so much power. I think like Delph is a card that maybe they have a weapon. Delph is a card that is much better when your opponent has a weights on them from the teacher. Now I can play out both these dudes. Still have to fight through an Elias, which is doable, by the way. Like if I have a if I get my Merchant, I have access to In Cold Blood. There's lots of things I can hit off of the Cursed Prophet that are all interesting. This is terrifying, particularly. I'm very likely going to play Desecrate plus Moonstone Vanguard here. Though Venom Spide Hydra is exciting. Yeah, let's do this. I'm not dead to the board, though I could easily be dead to my opponent's hand. I mean, they need 3 damage, which is not a ton. That is 3 damage, right? Of course. I guess that they had gotten the Mars change, but I forgot about the Regent's Tomb buff. It happens. But yeah, so you see like the potential for going over top of a deck like this. I mean, that was an abysmal draw. The previous game I definitely could have won by grabbing the mug, or not the mug, the what do you call it? Burglarize instead. But this hand is really awkward. This hand is actually the best one I think that we've seen so far, other than the one that won on turn 2. But it's got the ingredients here, right? 2-drop, 2 4-drops. Should be noted that he has cut, LightsOutAce has cut the initiates from the deck. The main reason there is that there's just so much goddamn hate for Hojon nowadays that he felt it was good to move away from the card. The initiate is just going to get picked off by things like the snowballs, etc., and you just don't have kind of the same recovery ability as actually. The reason I'm thinking right here is about activating, because I could kind of see wanting to set things up for having better cards to discard to the Corinthian Merchant. But I think I can just send the Merchant back, so I'm just going to attack. There's a chance that they have Defiance. The reason I was thinking about that before combat was in case my opponent had Defiance. Which they do. Not that I care about it particularly. But I send Merchant back for this. Especially since it's not, like, spectacular in this matchup. There's not like any tool here that I'm like, oh yeah, this like totally decimates the matchup. They see snowballs is the example of the reason why initiates are kind of bad right now. Where were you last turn, friend? Would have loved to have access to you. I would rather play out Vara when they have a Sheltering Rider in play. Oh hey, another concession. Like, what are these people just like time units? Can't fucking beat them. Over it. over it. So that's so we're running 2-2 already with some very quick games. I might have to go for a whole sixth game here, stretch this out to at least, half an hour of a video. Why would they concede to just fucking Titan? Holy Lord. Like, maybe they had to go. That is my best explanation. Like, their wife and her husband showed up. Their baby set their computer on fire. All sorts of things. I was thinking about what happens in my life while I turn things on. No fire, but some disaster takes place that forces me to concede with no good reason. So, yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling with the deck still. Would have really liked to play that game out fully because I just don't feel like I have a solid opinion yet on the deck of how it functions. One thing that it has been suggested that Instigator is going to get a buff in the upcoming balance changes. We don't know exactly for sure what that'll look like and what that means for the deck moving forward, but that is the kind of card that I would be interested in playing in a deck like this and kind of just go full aggro almost, because I'm not a fan of the offices in this deck. It just feels so clunky, and that you're so often going to have games like the one that you saw from me, like in just a couple of games ago, where it's kind of just chilling in your hand, doing nothing all game, and you just wish it was just a random 2-drop. Feeling like I should reset this. Sometimes this happens. Don't know if it happens with you guys, but I know that it happens with me. Where the matchmaking just does not work properly, does not want you to play your games. What are my ratio right now is of time spent queuing versus time spent playing games that I actually won. It's probably not favorable. So we are into our next game, Heavy Mental. This hand is crap. I was just thinking about the different possibilities of playing the Moonstone Vanguard as a pledge, but obviously that doesn't work. Jesus. Well, I hope that they play Hojon or some similar card. Initiate is not good for me because if they have a turn of Initiate, I might be in some troubles. We have double Echo or Echo/Fate effect, and that is not great for me in terms of the composition of this hand. Treasure Trove. Wind Chest, it seems. So we are just going to go aggro. This is game number 5, but if this one's quick, I will run an extra one after this. Interesting. This is a very good Delph game. Delph is good against the Wind Chest style decks. If they do go for a... Oh, Slay. Okay. Yeah, they kind of have to kill it because it's a nuisance and it's going to end up drawing me a lot of cards. Their removal lines up kind of badly against it. Vara is pretty good too. So I'm happy to keep her. It's just, like, especially given my power situation, I think that it fits well in there. Yeah, you can get your +2/+2. Start here, of course, want to draw cards first so that you can see what's going on. This feels like a Nocturnal Creeper game. probably would have been better to play out Vara first, honestly, because if I then like able to set up basically that exact same play for next turn, that would be good. I will give her your 2+2 again. Ooh, no power. Get a little damage in. Draw another card. These are both really bad. I think that I'm going to get the Deadeye still. I was trying to think about like any logic as to why I would want the other one. I mean, I don't need the life gain. They're going to need the life gain more than me. I'm definitely attacking into this with the Nightshade. They can't really hold all these cards as part of it. Oh, hello. Let's do this. Maybe we get lucky. Yeah, so they basically need to have a. Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. The fact that I'm kind of like still playing them away and gaining some momentum in this race is good. They do have a lot of resources, and I fear that I don't have enough pressure on them. This is kind of what I was saying about wanting to play out the Vara first. Delph continuing to get value. Don't think that either of these make any sense to get. Okay, if a spell or weapon costs 4 or more. Okay. I don't think that they have Harsh Rule. Sure. Let's see if they go for this. I mean, this is a pain in the ass card for my opponent to have. Though any of those cards are actually kind of frustrating. I suppose I can Draka that. Okay, sure. Gain 8, man. You got it. Okay, start. I'm gonna do this because I can also Vara's choice a card in their hand. Like if I give them something good, if I'm forced to give them something good. Ooh. Siphon Vitality is a fun one. I should have played the trusty revolver. What on earth do they have in their hand? Let's do this. Just play things cautious. I kind of like the idea of playing Siphon Vitality as a instant speed obelisk. Quarry. Sure, sure. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Probably should have actually played that when Vara was dying. Since I have the Desecrate to kill something. Okay. That's a lot of options. Good to know that that playing out teacher is a waste of time. Maiden seems like the biggest problem. Probably should have taken a picture of that. That was a lot of cards. Sure. Can we talk about this Delph and the things that it's done for me? This is not a particularly hard one. Interesting. Slay. Yep. I can manage this pretty easily. Torch, torch, torch. Okay. It's got to be this. Let's do this. I'm trying actually deliberately to bait them into playing the Rizon on the teacher here, giving them a bit of a false sense of security. They're going to only have 2 power left, but if I have the ability, though, to kill them through this particular turn, because I have 6 damage in hand. Or 6, like 3 damage here, 2 damage, 1 damage. Does not matter. We did it! Talking about fucking hard mode. Oh my god. Ugh. That was tough. That Delph, man, did so much work. I love it. Okay, so that was a satisfying place to end it. So that was a a weird little number, but it was a good one nonetheless. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I still think this deck definitely has some issues. I think that it's really hoping for some key cards to get nerfed in the upcoming patch, or some key cards to get buffed in the upcoming patch, because it just feels like it sort of falls on its face sometimes. It doesn't have quite enough cards to come together for a coherent game plan. And I mean, it's really sweet to steal games with Delph. It can do some really stupid stuff when you're unopposed like that. I do agree with the stance, by the way, for the record, that Delph is an ableist caricature, as first posed by Allison. But I am, so hopefully he gets buffed into his artwork department. But yeah, it was a fun game though, fun run, and hopefully you have some fun games like that. There'll be the link in the description below if you can find the Warcry list for this one. But that'll do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me.